Hello everybody and welcome back. We are here for the Trash to Treasure Tuesday. Myself and Sophie from Sophie's Crafty Corner decided that we were going to do a project where we create a journal just from junk and recyclable products. This is a bit of a challenge for us, but we really liked the idea. Sophie is on my design team, so we normally like to use lots of digitals to make our projects all pretty, but like I said, we decided that we were going to give ourselves the challenge of using just recyclable goods. So we've started already in the last two videos putting the base of our journal together and our signatures in. What I'm really loving about this is how very different mine is to Sophie's. I will have her channel linked down below, so please make sure that you go and check her out. Her journal looks absolutely incredible, but like I said, completely different to mine. So I'm going to be using mine as an art journal. So I've actually made mine a square, so it's a 6x6 square. And then I did some mixed media for the cover, and it's actually made from an old paper bag, and then I've just sort of collaged over it and used some paints and inks and things. Then as we open up, just to kind of stabilise the cover, I've used some old Amazon packaging on the inside. And I've used a different type of packaging. It's very similar to the Amazon packaging, but it was a little bit thicker, and you kind of get two sheets together. And I've done it as an accordion, so the whole thing can fold out, and obviously you've then got the back pages as well. Now I haven't prepped the pages for the art journaling that I'm going to do in them. I'll do that as and when I start art journaling, but today's video is all about creating either multiple pockets or a pocket, and because I'm going to use this for art journaling, and because I might have different scraps and things like that, on the inside of this cover I want to create a pocket where I can put little bits and pieces. So if I've got little offcuts that I just want to save, they can go in here, because at the moment, keeping hold of this and all my other materials, I've got this huge great big A4 box that has the leftover of my paper bag. It's got some more of the packaging, it's got some magazines and some other bits and papers, but I was thinking if I've got like little bits, because like when I was cutting out my squirrel, for example, or I had a little piece of a receipt, I could put that in a pocket here. So that's what I'm going to create for today, and the way I'm going to create that is I'm going to use another paper bag. Now I love green, green's my favourite colour, however this is a bit too bright green for my liking. I like this darker green. That was quite nice from the paper bag that I used, but yeah, I'm going to use this. So I'm going to trim this down a little bit, and then obviously I'll save what's left, and then you may have seen them on other channels, but essentially once you've kind of cut that strip away, you can open it up and then you've got a nice deep pocket. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to stick that over here and have a little closure. I might even have it that way. Yeah, and then I can have a little closure, sort of tying it closed as well. I am going to decorate this. Now I've got a couple of things again ready. So this was another paper bag that I was debating whether I was going to use as my actual journal base, but I decided to go with the other one. But I really love the decoration on here, so I might use this to decorate my envelope. Sorry, not my envelope, my paper bag. And then I've got, this was a paint and paper magazine that kind of came through, and they've actually got this whole page that shows a wallpaper that I quite like. So I'm thinking I might use that as to kind of back that page, and then have that other design over the front. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm not sure. Oh, it is actually about 6 inches, which is good. So I'm going to try and carefully tear that out if I can, without making a right hash of it. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Oh, and look at that. That's pretty perfect, actually. So let's just work out where we need to tear, because I'm obviously not going to need all of it. Let's grab my trimmer. Right, so trimmer, and I need a pencil. So first of all, let's mark where I need to cut here. About there. Let's do that bit first. Now, as I say, it's absolutely brilliant doing this challenge because, well, obviously Sophie and I are kind of leading it and decided to have a go at this challenge, but others from both of our Facebook groups have been joining in, and their journals are also different, which is always really brilliant to see. I love when everybody has so many different ideas on how they're going to create theirs. So if you want to join along and have a go at making a journal just from the stuff that you've kind of got about your house, then yeah, I encourage you to go back, watch the previous videos, kind of see what we've done in those, and then yeah, post your pictures in either of the Facebook groups because we'd love to see what you're up to as well. Okay, so that's, oops, that's that fits on there brilliantly. And then I'm going to keep this because obviously that can just go in my box of stuff. So that's going to be the back, but I want to create a tie to go on here, so I don't want to stick this down yet because my split pin's going to need to go through there, so I'm not going to do that. I am, however, going to trim this, so let's bring that trimmer back in again, and let's see, how much over do I want to go? Let's go for 1.5 inches to begin with. I'll just go for the width of, I'm just going to go for the width of whatever this plastic is and go from there. Oh, it is about 1.5 inches, okay. Okay, so you basically end up with this. And the idea is this bit's going to get stuck down, and then this you can then open up, put your stuff in, and then close it down again. So that's the idea. I'm actually thinking that might be too tall. I am going to trim that down again a bit, so that we've just got 1 inch. So about there. Okay, so that's a bit better. That's going to go there. So I need to decorate this and this part. I could decorate in there, but I don't know if that's going to be just too fussy. Right. So I know I want to use some of this. So I'm going to carefully unpick from the bottom. Right, okay, so that's that unpicked. It went a bit wrong in that corner, but that's okay. I'm going to trim it where that bottom crease is anyway. So let's bring in the trimmer and just get rid of that bottom part. So about there. There we go. Again, everything's just going back into that box. And then, right, then I need this to see how much I need here. So we're going to trim along there and along there. So let's do that. Just checking that dark line that's on the pattern is the dark line that I've made. Can't tell if it's part of the pattern or not. There we go. Right, so that does overlap there, but I'm a little bit worried about tearing it, so I'm just going to cut up here instead, as straight as possible, hopefully. Okay, so that's going to go on there. And then I'm going to be brave and just hold it in place. And cut up here. Hopefully not cutting into the paper bag. Okay, so it's going to go that way, and that's going to go on there. Okay, yeah, that worked out not too bad. So I'm just going to trim it ever so slightly on that side. There we go. And then that's that side. And then I need another piece that's the same, because obviously that's going to go then on this side. So I'm just going to fold it over that way. Let's see, what section do we like the look of? Which way up did it go? Was it that way? I can't really tell anymore. Was it that way? Oh yes, it must be, because that's that way. So I might go for the red actually. So I'm going to cut up that fold, because that gives me a nice line to kind of copy from. So I'm going to go up there. And then hopefully, as I'm following a line, I will be reasonably straight. And then I'm going to lay that on there. And again, hopefully, I will be reasonably straight if I follow up here. There we go. I'm just trying to decide, do I want to worry about these sides? I'm kind of thinking I do. So let's have a look. So about there. Oh, look at that. That would be perfect. Because that's right where that fold is as well. So I'm just going to trim along here, because I'm assuming if I've measured one side, the next side will be the same. I've been wrong before, we will see. And then, now that I've created that crease there, I'm going to cut up this way. Now, I might need to just chop a little bit off the height. Yeah, I'm going to chop just a tinsy bit off the height. So I'm just going to bring those two together. And it's just because of the folding that needs to kind of happen. No idea if I'm straight, but only a little bit I've cut off. Right. Now to glue bits down. Now, because of the way I've done the front and it's a little bit vintagey, I think I might even ink these. I might give them an ink. I do like my vintage photo. So let's have a go at that. Now, I must admit, I'm quite excited about using this for art journaling. My husband for Christmas bought me some, I'm probably going to completely mispronounce this, is it gouache paint? Apparently it's kind of a mix between a kind of watercolour and an acrylic style paint. It's kind of something in between those two. I did have a little bit of a practice at Christmas time. My daughter and I sat down and painted a picture. And they're actually really lovely paints, so I'm hoping to crack those out and have a go at some of that in here. Now, I am not an artist. I think I've said before in another video, I'm not an artist. I consider myself a crafty person. I like making things. But yeah, absolutely not an artist. I'm okay at drawing if I'm given the time and things like that, but I wouldn't call myself an artist really. Right, okay, let's start putting this together. So I think I'm going to put the sides on first, only because that's going to be easier. I am going to try my best to peel that off, because otherwise it's just making it far too thick. That's better. Just making it really thick on that edge. Right, let's get some glue. Okay, let's add some glue then and get the sides stuck on. Now you can of course go nuts and also decorate the inside. I am not going to worry about the inside at all, because you're only going to see the inside very briefly, obviously when you open up, so I'm not fussed about that at all. Right, crease. I can never tell if this is the right way up or not. I think it is. I think it is. Right, wonderful. Okay, so that's that bit. I don't know if I want the yellow or the red side showing. I'm sure we can decide that in a minute. Right, I'm just going to pop it open. Oh, she says it's gone a bit stiff. Just going to make sure that those are all stuck down on the edges. Right, and then we're going to do the sides. I think I've got to trim that yellow one down, you know. I think the red's not too bad, just a teeny bit there. But this yellow one's overhanging, so I'm just going to carefully snip again, not cutting the green bag. That would be a disaster, as this was the only small bag that I could find that was small enough to make a pocket for this inside. So I would be super cross and sad if I've done the wrong thing. But I think I'm okay. Oops, pop open. There we go. Right, so now that that's open, I think I'm going to have the red on this side. And then what I'll do is once it's sort of dry, then I'll start kind of folding it again to kind of get it to close. But I'll wait until the glue's dry before I start doing that. Oops. Right, so I'm going to let that dry. I'm just going to pop that over towards the back. Right, two things I need to do. I need to create a tab that's going to go on there, and then I need a policy closure here. So I need to think what I'm going to use for my policy closure as well. Okay, so I'm thinking about using some scrap from the paper bag as my tab. And I might even use it as the policy closure as well, actually. So let's just cut up there. So I've got this punch that has the tab shape. Now it's quite a large tab, but obviously that's fine, that's not a problem. So I'm just going to slide in my piece, and I'm going to do 2 of these only because this is quite flimsy, so I need another one just to kind of double it up a little bit, unless I've got something thicker to put it on. But so that's then given me 2. Right, and then to do the policy closure, I'm going to use this, which I believe is 1.5 inches. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to punch out a couple. Might even have to do a few because I need this bit to be quite sturdy, so let's do another one. And I'm going to do another one just for good measure. Right. Ooh, again, you can go back in the box. Right, so let's glue some bits together, shall we? So I'm going to start by gluing these, and just for some interest I might have that one as my top one. And I'm just going to literally layer them on top of one another. And I realise they're not flat at the moment. I'm going to squish them down in a second. There we go. So just to kind of weigh it down, I'm going to use my stamping block, and I've got a couple of wooden paperweights that I'm going to put over the top just to kind of squish those together, and I'm going to do the same for this. So I'm just going to glue those. Making sure that they're lined up, and then I'm going to do the same. So I'm just going to grab that, move it over, pop the glue down, and then pop that on. Right, while that's doing that, let's try and refold this. Excellent. So that's going to go on there. It's obviously going to have the tab. I'm actually wondering whether the policy closure is going to work or if I'm going to have to do it a different way. I think I'm going to have to do it a different way. Yeah, so I'm not going to use the policy closure actually. I'm just going to use the tab. Right, let's get a little piece of string then. Okay, so I've got a fairly thin piece of string, so I think that would work quite well. So let's get these sorted. Hopefully that hasn't stuck to there. Like I said, I'm not going to use this, but I'll keep this. I'll chuck it in the box because that can be used somewhere else for something else. We will see. Not too worried if there's obviously, like I say, a bit of glue on there because it dries clear. So I'm just going to fold that over like so. And I'm going to give that a little bit of an ink as well. Totally not necessary, you don't have to ink anything if you don't want to on yours, but I quite like the vintage look. Right, and then I'm going to pop this on here. So I'll do that now. I'm just going to try and line it up in the middle. I think that's pretty much it. Give that a bit of a squeeze. There we go. Right, so the next thing I need to do then is get a brad or a split pin, depending on where you are in the world, and then I'm going to put that through there because that's what I'm going to loop my string with. So I'm just going to put a brad in there. Okay, so I've got one, and what I'm going to do, maybe this bit's a bit screwed up so it doesn't particularly matter. So I'm just going to chop that bit off. That can go in the box. All I'm going to do on the back is I'm just going to stick that there, and that's just going to help support the brad a little bit and just make this paper a little bit more sturdier, because while it's from like a little magazine book thing, it's not the thickest of papers. So that's going to go on there like so. Right, and then I'm going to create a hole. Yeah, I think I'm just going to eyeball it. I was going to try and be a bit more precise, but actually no. That'll do. I'm just going to pop that through. Now the idea is that you don't want to make this too tight because obviously I've still got to wrap my string round. So I'm just going to leave it poking out a little bit like that, and then split pin. So I don't know if you can see that, but it is still quite raised from the thing because I've obviously got to wrap my string round. So now that I've got that, I'm going to put another little piece of paper over the top. Now this doesn't matter if it gets glue everywhere because the whole thing's obviously going to be stuck down in a minute anyway, but this just helps hold that brad in place. Awesome, so now the whole thing can be stuck down. I haven't actually inked around that. I'm going to quickly do that. Just a little bit, it doesn't have to be super vintage looking. That'll do. going to line that up on here. Okay, and now that that's on there, I'm going to glue the base of this down. Well, actually, before I do that, I am going to pop an eyelet in this tab. Got my tub of eyelets here. Right, now I can glue it. Okay, and then that's going to get stuck down there. So I'm just going to hold it in place for a second just so that glue can grab. And then we're going to tie the string. Okay, so I'm going to thread that through. I'm just going to put a little knot in it. I'm not going to make anything fancy out of it. Just a little knot, and then that can wrap around there just to hold it closed. And there's the pocket. So unwind, then you can open it up. You can pop your little bits and pieces in there. So do I have any small bits of scraps? Let's have a look. Okay, so I've got a little bit there that I could use. Got a little scrap of that, although it might be too big. Let's tear it up again. But the idea is you pop your bits and pieces in, then that folds up, and then I can just wrap that round. So at least then, if I've got any small pieces, they can go in there, ready for the art journaling. And that all just goes together like so. Now, that is my pocket done, but what I do want to do is also sort out my closure here. Let's make sure that that stays in there and doesn't come out. Yes, I want to sort out my closure. Now, I was thinking of doing an elasticated closure. So somewhere in my box, I'm just going to have a quick rummage. I've got some elastic. Can't remember what I've pulled this off of, but it is a recycled piece. So I was thinking of putting some oh my goodness, my words have lost me. Eyelets in here, securing the elastic, and then it wraps around. That's the plan. I was thinking of having the eyelets in the back, and then the elastic pulls around the front. But I didn't want it really covering that lady, so I'm actually going to do it backwards. And I know it's backwards, but I don't care. Or do I want the elastic? Because I'm just then thinking if the elastic's at the back, at least then when it gets pulled off, the elastic's kind of hanging here. Whereas if it's on there, it's attached to that. Does that matter? I don't think it matters. Yep, I'm going to go with the way that I originally thought I wanted to go. So let's create some holes, shall we? So I'm going to do one about here. Oops. So about there. About there. I don't think they're quite even, but who cares? Right, I then need a couple of violets again. Nope, just two. Just two. Right, now to think about how this is even done, because I think that's supposed to be fed in there. This is quite a wide one. I don't know if I've got a thinner one. Because that now doesn't leave very much space for the eyelet, which I know is the point because it's obviously got to hold it tight. Oh no, I think that might be okay. Right, let's set that one. And then we can cut it the right length for the other side. Which way are we going? Almost did it upside down. That would have been good, wouldn't it? Right, excellent. So that's grabbed that. Right, let's see then. We want this to come round. And I'm just going to pull it as tight as I think I need it. Don't see a bit more? Does that feel tight? That's a bit better. And that's then how it's going to look. So yes, I didn't really want the white strip around her. Right, I'm going to hold on to that and pull it out. Oh, hang on, I just need to check that that is, yep. So, actually, can I do it while it's in here? I'm probably making a right pig's ear of this. Is a much easier way of doing this, I'm sure. Right, so I'm going to pull that in. I'm going to lift it back. I'm going to pop this in. Oh my goodness, fingers, come on. There we go. Right. Now, I need to try and set this without it all coming apart. Okay, no, I might need to undo it. But at least it's now in position. Excellent. Right, so all there is to do then is to get a small pair of scissors. I'm just going to trim that slightly down the bottom there, and then trim that up here, like so. Oh, I'm quite happy with that. So we've got that. That goes that way. And then that is going to go around the back there to hold that closed. Yeah, I really like that. Okay, so that's pocket and closure done. I'm quite happy with those. As I said, got lots of scraps and bits now in my box ready for the art journaling. So as I said before, this is a challenge that Sophie and I are doing, so I will have her channel linked down below. Please go and check hers out. As I said, her journal looks very, very different to mine, so it's nice to get lots of different inspiration and different ideas. Yeah, go and check out her video. If you would like to join in with the challenge, we would love to see what you're doing and how you're putting yours together. You can either post your pictures in the Non-Stop Papercrafts Facebook group or Sophie's Crafty Corner. If you have enjoyed today's video, I would really love for you to become a subscriber if you are not already. Also, make sure that you click that bell button, then you're notified of any new crafty videos. As always, I thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next crafty video. Bye for now.